Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who choose to be alone, not because they don't want connection, but because they know their worth. Sigma males are often misunderstood, labeled as loners or outcasts, but the truth is much deeper than that. Their solitude is not a result of a lack of desire for companionship. It's a result of their unwavering commitment to staying true to themselves. They're not willing to settle for superficial relationships, nor are they willing to sacrifice their principles just to fit in. This is why they often end up alone. It's not that they can't connect with others, but rather that they choose not to waste their energy on relationships that don't align with their values, their vision, or their inner peace. If you're a Sigma male, it's time to embrace your uniqueness. Your independence, depth, and integrity are your strengths. Don't let the world pressure you into conforming. While being alone may seem like a downside to others, it's a powerful statement that you are in control of your own narrative. Watch the full video to understand the real reasons why Sigma males end up alone, and why it's not a negative thing but a testament to their strength and self-awareness. Number 1. They refuse to settle for mediocrity. Sigma males are anything but ordinary, and they refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary in their relationships. While most people may compromise on their standards to avoid loneliness, Sigma males operate under a different code. They're not interested in superficial connections, nor are they willing to lower their expectations just to have company. For them, a relationship without depth, authenticity, or intellectual stimulation isn't worth the effort. Mediocrity doesn't cut it, and they'd rather face loneliness than endure a shallow, unfulfilling connection. This isn't about arrogance or elitism. It's about their respect for themselves and their time. They know their worth, and they expect the same level of commitment and quality from those they allow into their lives. To them, a partner should challenge them intellectually, align with their values, and bring something meaningful to the table. If someone can't meet these criteria, the Sigma male would prefer solitude to settling for a connection that doesn't nourish them in any real way. They don't need someone to fill a space or serve as a placeholder in their life. Mediocre companionship isn't just unappealing, it's draining. Time spent with someone who doesn't match their energy or share their passions is time wasted. For Sigma males, meaningful relationships are not optional, they are essential. But only those who can bring depth and substance are worthy of their attention. The rest are simply not worth the emotional energy it would take to maintain a connection. Number 2. They live in a world of ideas, not people. Sigma males don't just live, they think, constantly. Their minds are perpetually engaged in a world of ideas, theories, and visions. While others chase social connections and enjoy the buzz of daily interactions, Sigma males find their fulfillment elsewhere in the exploration of their inner worlds. For them, thoughts are a form of escape, a source of comfort, and a driving force that gives their life direction. They dive deep into intellectual pursuits, creative endeavors, or any project that fuels their hunger for knowledge and growth. Unlike most people who look to social engagement to recharge, Sigma males thrive in solitude, where they can immerse themselves fully in their ideas. They find a kind of peace in their mental landscapes that no social interaction can provide. Conversations with others, while interesting, often feel like interruptions to their internal flow. The external world, with all its noise and expectations, becomes a distraction from the world they've built in their minds. For a Sigma male, relationships often pose a challenge. The deeper their intellectual pursuits, the more they realize how difficult it is to integrate others into this world. People, with their needs and emotions, tend to pull them away from what truly energizes them. They're not necessarily averse to human connection, but they find that relationships, more often than not, require a sacrifice of their mental focus. This isn't about avoiding people. It's about prioritizing what truly matters to them. Intellectual exploration, personal growth, and the ability to exist in a space where they control the narrative. Relationships may come and go, but their world of ideas remains constant, a place where they can truly be themselves. At number 3, they walk away the moment respect is missing. For Sigma males, respect isn't just a preference, it's the foundation of any relationship. To them, respect is a two-way street, a mutual acknowledgement of each other's value, boundaries, and individuality. The moment this core principle is violated, the connection is as good as over. They won't stick around to justify their worth or beg for decency. Once they sense disrespect, they'll walk away without a second thought, and without looking back. This unflinching standard comes from their deep self-awareness. Sigma males know their value and refuse to remain in spaces where it's diminished or overlooked. They won't tolerate condescension, manipulation, or being taken for granted, behaviors that many might overlook in an attempt to maintain harmony. For them, staying in a relationship where respect is missing feels like a betrayal of their principles. But this unwavering boundary comes at a cost. In a world where respect is often conditional or taken lightly, their stance can feel jarring to others. Many potential partners may not realize how serious Sigma males are about this, assuming they'll stay and tolerate small breaches of respect. They won't. Instead, they'll leave swiftly and quietly, prioritizing their dignity over any temporary connection. This approach often leads to isolation, as they're unwilling to compromise on such a fundamental need. While others may see this as rigid or unforgiving, Sigma males view it as self-preservation. They'd rather be alone than stay in a relationship where they're undervalued. Their departure isn't about anger or revenge. It's about protecting their peace and maintaining the standards they hold themselves to. For a Sigma male, respect isn't negotiable. It's either present or it's not. And if it's not, no matter how much they care for someone, they'll choose to walk away and preserve their self-respect above all else. Number 4, they attract, then deter the wrong people. Sigma males possess an aura that's impossible to ignore. Their quiet confidence, independence, and depth draw people to them like moths to a flame. There's something magnetic about their mysterious nature, a kind of charm that feels untouchable yet irresistibly intriguing. But here's the reality. Not everyone who's drawn to them has pure intentions. In fact, their enigmatic personality often pulls in people who are more interested in the idea of controlling or unraveling them than truly connecting with them. At first, people find the Sigma male's independence refreshing, even alluring. They're fascinated by his refusal to conform and his ability to stand apart from the crowd. But as time passes, something shifts. Those who thrive on control or seek to manipulate their partners soon realize that Sigma males aren't wired to be tamed. They're not swayed by emotional games, don't respond to guilt trips, and won't abandon their values just to keep someone happy. For those who crave power in relationships, this realization is both frustrating and humbling. The very qualities that drew them in, the strength, self-assurance, and mystery, become the reasons they walk away. They discover that a Sigma male isn't interested in playing along or bending to their will, which often leads to the relationship fizzling out as quickly as it began. To the wrong people, a Sigma male feels like an unsolvable puzzle, a challenge they thought they could conquer but ultimately cannot. And while this constant cycle of attraction and deterrence might seem like a curse, it's actually a filter. It weeds out those who don't belong in their world, leaving room for the rare individuals who truly value and respect them for who they are, not for who they can be molded into. Number 5. They're unapologetically complex. Sigma males are like intricate puzzles, layered, deep, and unapologetically complex. They don't conform to simple narratives or water themselves down just to fit into someone else's comfort zone. To truly know a Sigma male requires effort, patience, and a genuine curiosity to explore the depths of their mind and emotions. But here's the catch. Most people don't have the energy or interest to go that deep. Their complexity isn't a performance, it's who they are. They think in layers, feel in dimensions, and operate on principles that often defy conventional norms. They see the world differently, question everything, and live with a depth that can overwhelm those who aren't prepared for it. For some, this depth feels intimidating, like stepping into an ocean when they're only comfortable with shallow waters. For others, it's exhausting, requiring an emotional and intellectual stamina that many simply don't possess. This often leaves Sigma males misunderstood, labeled as difficult or too much. People tend to prefer simplicity, straightforward personalities that don't challenge their worldview, or require introspection. But a Sigma male isn't here to simplify his essence for anyone. He refuses to dilute his thoughts, passions, or ideals to make himself more palatable. Unfortunately, this unapologetic authenticity often leads to isolation. While the few who truly connect with a Sigma male are rewarded with unmatched loyalty and depth, the majority retreat, unable or unwilling to put in the work, and that's fine by him. A Sigma male would rather be alone than settle for a relationship where only fragments of his complexity are acknowledged. This refusal to conform or shrink may leave them alone, but it also leaves them free to be exactly who they are without compromise, and to wait for those who are willing to dive deep into their world. Number 6. They see relationships as choices, not necessities. Sigma. Males approach relationships with a mindset that's both liberating and misunderstood. They see them as choices, not life's foundation. For most people, relationships are seen as essential to their happiness or sense of purpose. But for Sigma males, their purpose doesn't hinge on someone else. They're not wired to believe that they need another person to complete them. Instead, they prioritize their own growth, peace, and individuality, making relationships an addition to their lives, not the core of it. This perspective, while empowering, can easily be misconstrued by potential partners. When someone is used to being needed or prioritized, they might misinterpret a Sigma's independence as indifference. The truth is, it's not about undervaluing others. It's about a deep understanding of self-worth and boundaries. Sigma males don't enter relationships to fill a void or escape loneliness. They do so because they want to, not because they have to. However, this mindset often leads to friction. Partners may feel sidelined, like they're not essential in the Sigma male's life. The lack of dependency can create emotional distance, especially for those who equate love with being needed. To a Sigma, love isn't about dependence. It's about mutual respect and a meeting of equals. They don't demand constant validation or attention, nor do they offer it unnecessarily. This independence can push away people who expect relationships to follow traditional dynamics. Sigma males won't cling, chase, or compromise their core identity to fit someone's expectations. For them, the ultimate connection is one that enhances their life, not consumes it. They're not anti-relationship. They're just unwilling to sacrifice their freedom for the sake of societal norms or fleeting emotions. And while this may leave them alone at times, it ensures every relationship they embrace is truly authentic. Number 7. They don't fake compatibility. Sigma males are unapologetically authentic when it comes to relationships. They don't wear masks, sugarcoat their intentions, or twist themselves into shapes to fit someone else's expectations. To them, forcing a connection that doesn't naturally exist is a betrayal of who they are, and that's simply not a line they're willing to cross. This honesty, while admirable, often comes with a price. They don't adapt to make relationships work. They demand that relationships work as they are. Where many people might adjust their behavior, hobbies, or opinions just to keep a connection alive, Sigma males hold their ground. They understand that bending too much for someone else risks breaking their sense of self. Their mindset is clear. If the connection isn't genuine, it's not worth pursuing. This approach can make them seem distant or even cold to those who don't understand their values. But in reality, it's not indifference. It's a commitment to authenticity. This refusal to fake compatibility sets Sigma males apart in a world where superficial relationships are the norm. They aren't afraid to walk away if something feels forced, no matter how appealing the other person might be. To them, real connections should feel effortless, not like an uphill battle to fit mismatched pieces together. However, this level of selectiveness often leaves them standing alone. While most people compromise to avoid loneliness, Sigma males would rather face solitude than endure the emotional drain of pretending. It's not about being picky. It's about valuing depth and meaning over appearances. This principle may cost them in terms of quantity, but it guarantees that every bond they form is rooted in mutual respect and understanding. For Sigma males, it's never about who's around. It's about who truly belongs. Number 8. Their intellectual depth pushes people away. Sigma males live in a world of complexity where ideas flow with layers and depth that most people can't easily follow. Their intellectual capacity isn't something they try to hide or tone down, it's simply who they are. They think in a way that challenges the status quo, constantly questioning, analyzing, and creating. But this depth, while a source of strength and self-sufficiency, can also be isolating. Conversations that others might find stimulating often leave Sigma males feeling unfulfilled as they crave discussions that stretch beyond the surface. For most people, keeping up with a Sigma male's thought process is like trying to read a book in a language they don't understand. What might seem like a normal conversation to a Sigma male can quickly become frustrating for others who simply can't grasp the nuances or complexities of his ideas. Instead of adjusting to fit into conventional norms, Sigma males hold their ground. They won't dumb down their thoughts or simplify their perspectives just to make others feel comfortable. If the people around them can't keep up, they'd rather be alone than engage in a shallow exchange. This often leads to unintended loneliness. It's not that Sigma males don't want connection. It's that they've come to realize that the majority of people simply can't meet them at the level of intellectual engagement they require. So, instead of settling for less, they choose to stay in their own company, where their mind can roam freely without the pressure to explain or dilute their ideas. In the end, it's not a rejection of others, it's a recognition that their intellectual depth is too rare to be easily matched. Number 9. They're reluctant to share their inner world. Sigma males guard their inner world like a fortress. Their thoughts, emotions, and experiences are deeply layered, often complex in ways that most people wouldn't even begin to understand. They don't wear their hearts on their sleeves, nor do they broadcast their feelings for others to see. Instead, they remain reserved, offering only glimpses of themselves to those they trust. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being selective with their vulnerability. For Sigma males, sharing their inner world is a rare privilege, one that isn't granted lightly. They understand the weight of their own thoughts and the depth of their emotions, and they recognize that not everyone is equipped to handle them. Most people, despite their best intentions, simply can't keep up with the complexity of a Sigma male's mind, or understand the nuances of his feelings. To open up to someone who isn't capable of fully appreciating the depth of who they are feels like a risk they aren't willing to take. This reluctance to share often leads to feelings of isolation, while others might easily share their emotions or seek validation from those around them. Sigma males remain silent, protecting their mental and emotional space. It's not that they don't need connection. It's that they refuse to offer up parts of themselves unless they're certain the person on the other side can truly handle it. The right person will be able to see past the walls and understand the complexity that lies within. But until then, the Sigma male will remain self-contained, trusting only a few with the privilege of seeing their full depth. Now at number 10. Genuine connection feels like a needle in a haystack. For Sigma males, finding someone who truly matches their depth can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. Most people simply don't operate on the same wavelength. They gravitate towards shallow, surface-level interactions that fail to satisfy the Sigma male's intellectual and emotional needs. While others are content with casual chats and superficial connections, Sigma males crave something much deeper. Conversations that challenge their thinking, relationships that foster mutual growth, and emotional bonds that are based on genuine understanding. However, such connections are incredibly rare, and the more Sigma males search for them, the more they realize how difficult it is to find someone who resonates on that level. They might meet plenty of people, but the conversations often feel hollow, and the relationships seem forced. It's not that they're incapable of connecting with others. It's that they refuse to settle for anything less than a meaningful bond. And most of the time, what they encounter simply doesn't live up to their standards. This lack of authentic connection often leads Sigma males to choose solitude over settling for mediocrity. It's easier, less frustrating, and far more fulfilling to embrace the peace of being alone than to waste energy on relationships that don't offer the intellectual stimulation and emotional depth they crave. While others might feel lonely in their solitude, Sigma males find comfort in it. knowing that until they find that rare connection, their own company is the best companion they can have. In conclusion, in the end, Sigma males don't end up alone by chance. They end up alone because they choose to be. They understand that the cost of compromising their authenticity or settling for anything less than genuine connection isn't worth it. They know their own worth and won't tolerate relationships that don't add real value to their lives. Being alone for a Sigma male isn't a sign of failure or weakness. It's a conscious decision to preserve their integrity, their energy, and their vision for life. It takes courage to live by your own standards, especially when society often pushes the narrative that companionship is a necessity. Sigma males don't need validation from others or to conform to social norms. Their solitude is their sanctuary, a space where they can thrive, grow, and focus on what truly matters to them. They've learned that most relationships, no matter how well-intentioned, come with compromises that diminish who they are or drain their emotional energy. If you're a Sigma male, remember that you're not alone because something's wrong with you. You're alone because you refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Keep your standards high, protect your peace, and trust that the right connections will come when they are meant to. Your journey is unique, and your strength lies in your ability to stand alone without losing sight of your true self. Stay true to your path, and don't let anyone make you believe that being alone is a burden. It's the freedom that many will never understand.